Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerd Apocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we are back. Let's talk about season 2 of Loki starring Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. Look, it just ended a couple of days ago. Hell of a ride. This one, for me, was a much more... I don't want to say much more interesting, but a much more cerebral season than the first season, which I thoroughly enjoyed as well. But I really, really like this one a lot. I think it absolutely stuck the landing. There was some really fun moments in it. This one, I think, took a lot more heavy lifting as far as acting goes from Tom Hiddleston. I think he delivered. Is this the best character arc in all of the MCU? We'll find out. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I think it's. I think season 2 was damn good. I think it was a very, very good bit of acting from everybody. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, this is the best show. This is the best show that they've done, both seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not even close because they were able to end both seasons well. Especially the second season. I agree with you. The first season is a little less heady.
Yeah.
Because of the whole idea of, them going into different timelines during apocalypses, like it keeps the adrenaline going. And this season, the second one, is a little more cerebral. But yeah, I think the acting is stronger this season. I think the story itself is stronger, especially because you're dealing with something that is confusing, like time travel. You're dealing with time travel and multiverses. So that can be confusing. But I think I think this was really good. Jonathan Majors, if Jonathan Majors makes it out of this mess that he got himself into, I hope that guy gets whatever help he needs. Because I enjoy watching him as an actor.
Do you want me to read a title I just saw in an article, like just now? Marvel rumor Disney scrapping Kang MCU storyline after firing Avengers 5 writer. I think we might be done here.
Oops. All right. Well, look,
but look, I agree with you. I actually really enjoyed him in this season. I did.
Yeah, man.
I wrote to you and Terrence. I was like, this is the most annoying thing is that I actually really enjoy watching this guy. And I can't believe you fucked your career up because you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, man. Anyway, he's really good in it. That's pretty much all out. There's other stuff I need to say about him, but he's really good in it. And Tom Hiddleston, I mean, like, we're going to get into, is this a spoiler review?
Yes. Yeah, we're going
to. Okay. Yeah, man. Like, he's playing this thing like he's never going to play it again. Right? Like, he is emoting the shit out of this character. Like, this character has been around since pretty much the beginning, man. And it's been a wild ride. I'd never in my wildest dreams did I think this character would have the pathos that he has. With all of these other characters, like this character is such a standout, right? Like he was such a standout in the movies that they kept putting him in and he and no matter what the timeline, right? Like in the movie timeline, he was like mischievous and the villain, but he ended up being a much more noble character. And in this show, he gets taken at the end of the first Avengers, right? And he's that asshole Loki. And again, this character was destined to always eventually be a good person. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. And I when they said they were doing a Loki television show,
I remember you were like, absolutely not.
Right. Like, this is going to be dumb, yo. This is going to be whack. And once again, I am loud and wrong. And look, I would, unlike everyone else on the internet, if I say something is going to be bad, I hope I'm wrong.
Right. Like, nobody wants to be like, well, yeah, a lot of people hope they're right about that. But yeah, like, no, it's a good thing to be like, hey, that was actually pleasantly surprising and I really enjoyed it.
Right. Because, like, that's how you get more out of life, yo. So, yeah, man, everybody, the entire cast, everyone, I felt like Sylvie didn't have a whole lot of meat on the bone of her character. Compared to season 1. But yeah, man, this is really good. Also, yo, this this TV show has one of like the most horrific deaths that I could imagine, right?
Nobody when they saw that shit coming, yo. You're like, what the fuck? Like, okay, we're gonna fucking solve this problem. Nope. Absolutely not. Jesus.
So yeah, man, everything about it. It's really good. I love it. I love it. Now, the ending, I thought it ended great. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better ending to a story, to a fucking Loki story.
Right.
It might be one of the best flat out endings that the MCU has ever produced. Just on a character level, right? Like on a character level, right? And this is, and Endgame had a good ending, but that also had like 15 years worth of movies to back it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sort of easy to stick the landing when you have a landing pad as big as they did. Like it's right. Like you'd have to really fuck it up. Because everybody, you already knew what everybody wanted. Everybody wanted to see all of these characters have a massive fight, like alongside each other, have this massive fight and win, right? Like that was really what stuck the landing. Anything that happened after that, people were just like, all right, that's cool, like whatever, it's interesting. But you just needed to have a badass fight and not like shortchange people and be like, and then they'll fight. Just imagine how it happened. All right, we'll see you later. Like if you did anything short of that, you're fine.
Right. They made everyone love Loki. Even in the show, even in the movies, they made everyone love the guy who murdered Coulson, yo.
Like, right about that. Yeah, like that's how far his character has come that I totally forgot about that until you just said, I'm like, damn, that's true. Like that was the holy sin of the MCU. Like that was the thing, quite literally, that brought the
Avengers together.
Yeah. And in this show, he talks about, he was like, yeah, I was feeling a little sad, that like one time I, went and attacked New York. He's eating key lime pie as if it's not a big deal, as if it was not the linchpin of everything we've watched up until this moment. He's just like, yeah, I got really sad once and I attacked a bunch of people in New York. It wasn't right. I shouldn't have done it, but like, I was sad.
Yo, that's that universe's World War II, yo. Like that's the thing.
The Great War. And he's just like, I mean, whatever. Like, but that is the mark of great writing. And that is the mark of great characters, is that you hate them, you love them, you hate them again. Like, you got to remember, like, yes, he kills Coulson. Like, we remember that now. I totally fucking forgot at this point. But like, he killed Coulson. In that same movie, he called Black Black Widow a mewling Quim, where people had to look it up. It's like, yo, did you just call her like a blubbering vagina? Basically, like, this is very rude. Like,
Oh, he called her a
was
cunt,
real-
yo. He
Yeah.
called her a cunt. Like, come on, yo. Like, Jesus Christ.
Right. So it's just like, this guy was a real piece of shit. Like, you really, like, at the end, they literally just beat, like, one of the biggest scenes with the Hulk is him just slamming Loki repeatedly into the ground and everyone cheering in the theater. Like, I could watch this all day, right? Everyone got a kick out of watching Loki get his ass handed to him. And now we are rooting for the guy who is literally not just saving the world, but is saving the multiverse. And has ultimately become a great fucking hero. It's awesome.
Like, the thing is, yo, like, they made us love this guy twice. They made us love this guy twice, right?
Yeah.
Like, because in the movie timeline, like, that guy had a redemption arc. He did. He had a redemption arc. He sacrificed himself for his brother, yo.
Yeah. You got sad at the beginning of Endgame. Sad to watch him die. Yeah.
And they did it, and they did it again. Like, that's amazing. That is that. Also, yo, you got to put a lot of that on Tom Hiddleston. You got to put a lot.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Like it is evident that he loves that character, but doesn't want to play that character his entire life. So they gave this character the most meaningful send off they could possibly give him. Now, I'm not gonna go through the entire season of Loki, but he essentially ascends to godhood that we know of godhood, right? Like, in the MCU and the Thor movies, they refer to them as the Norse gods, right? But Natalie Portman's character, oh yeah, you guys are the Norse gods, right? And they refer to themselves as gods, but they're not really gods. They're more like aliens, right? Like, they are just a highly, technically advanced group of alien Vikings, right?
Yeah.
In this show, Loki he's essentially the god of the multiverse. Like he sacrifices himself to use essentially himself and his alien magic to become the Loom and to take all the branches of time together and pump his energy into them so that all of the multiverses can stay alive. Yep. And he has to stay there. He finally gets to sit on his throne, right? And become the most important being there is, but he's still alone, right? Like, one of the things that he feared was that he never wanted to be alone. And that's why this sacrifice is so fucking heartbreaking, because he realizes he is the only one that can save everyone, but he's got to do it by himself. He's got to be there and do it by himself. He's got to sit there and essentially be what He Who Remains was, right? He's got to sit there until the end of time alone, holding all of the strands of the multiverse together. Yep. I mean, it's Shakespearean. It's Shakespearean, yeah. The bittersweet ending that this is, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ, yo. Like, this is a Loki show.
Why do I care so much? Yeah, no,
I mean, but like, really, yo, like, really, why do I care so much about a fucking Loki show, yo? But it's just really good, man.
I mean, and this makes the argument to me that you shouldn't want. How do I say this as cleanly as possible? You should want more than just kicking and punching in these movies and shows. Like, you should, because when you demand to have real stories with real consequences, with real characters, with real arcs, you get shit like this. And this, I mean, the idea of him becoming the sort of this god above everything, right? He's a god above Odin at that point, right? He controls the multiverse. Odin is a part of the multiverse, right? He's a member in it, right? So he is an ant to Loki in that perspective, right? For him to then mimic Yggdrasil, which is the design of what they saw, right? And how they saw, Jotunheim and Midgard and all this other shit. For him to then take all of that and mirror it in his design of the multiverse is fucking incredible, right? From a writing perspective, the very first episode and the very last episode, from the episode of season 1 and the last episode of season 2, have the exact same title. Glorious Purpose, right?
Yeah.
The very first time we meet Loki, or like as he's like a realized adult, his fucking first thing he always says when he comes to Earth and he takes on Iron Man and Captain America is, "I am Loki, of Asgard, and I'm here on, in glorious purpose," right?
I'm burdened with glorious purpose.
Literally, thank you. Burdened with glorious purpose, right? His arc is that he thinks his glorious purpose that he's burdened with is like, I gotta fucking deal with all of you assholes and I need to rule you. But in the end, his burden of glorious purpose is to sit alone at the end of fucking time to save everyone. That is clever fucking writing, man. It is brilliant writing. And again, you're absolutely right. A lot of it leans on Hiddleston's shoulders. A lot of it does. Like most of it. Because he delivers on good writing is one thing. You still need a guy to say the shit. You still need a woman to say the shit.
Yeah, man.
And to say it and to make us believe it. But he finds, in his like unbelievable arrogance, he finds a woman that he loves. And it is literally himself, which is just a level of arrogance that I just find to be humorous. But he gives up being with her. He gives up like this idea of trying to fix everything. He realizes that he could let time go and go and go and go, where they just keep repeating or whatever. He spends centuries trying to figure it out, right? But then he realizes the sacrifice he has to make. And then he is burdened with that purpose, right? That glorious purpose. Brilliant work by them. And this is the same team that's handling the back end of Daredevil. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait.
Yeah,
by the way, hey, spoiler alert, you just got rid of the guy who wrote Avengers 5. Get these guys to do Avengers 5. Get these guys to do it. I don't know what Avengers 5 is going to even fucking be at this point, but get them to do it. Because they are clearly extremely fucking capable of doing something quite amazing. But this is what you want in the MCU. You want intelligence. Not just kicking and punching. That has always been the appetizer for what the MCU really is. And it should be shit like this that is the meal. And they nailed it, man. They came in strong with the first season. Everybody loved it. I think it was dope to bring back He Who Remains in this season. And basically like, hey, you remember when you killed me? Like, who do you think wrote the path for that shit, motherfucker? Who do you think paved the way for that? It was me. Like, knock it off.
The scenes with them two, man.
Like, the two are so goddamn good in this scene, dude. They're so
the scenes with the scenes with those two, man, like it was so good. It was two really great actors playing off each perfectly. Just
putting on a masterclass, man.
You dummy.
Yeah, putting on a goddamn masterclass.
Yeah, man.
I'm just like, yeah. Can we have more of this? No, we can't. God damn it. But yeah, that's fine. I don't know what they do after this. But I don't think you'll see.
So the TVA, they said in the show that the TVA's mission now is to essentially go out and find variants of He Who Remains across all of the different multiverses, right? Like that's the job of the TVA now. So the show still is assuming that Kang is going to be the main antagonist. Quite frankly, you can still do it. Like, if you have to recast, just do it. Just do it.
Like when they show up to one of the timelines, like, there he is. Like, I'm like, all
right. Like, just recast him.
It's the easiest thing in the world. I think it's look. If you're gonna, I think you should continue with the storyline, because I think you've teed up too much at this point. Like, it feels weird to just abandon it.
To make a hard pivot. Look, I want to see Doctor Doom as much as the next person, but like, to do a hard pivot and just like,
I think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
I think you just pick a different guy and just do that. Just pick someone who can deliver, man. Who can just fucking deliver on those fucking lines. Like, that's all you're gonna do.
Look, Loki is essentially out of the picture.
I think this is the last time you see him.
I want it to be the last time you see him. I want it to be. This is such a perfect send off for Tom Hiddleston. I want it to be like the only thing that I would justify having him come back for just like a bit role is if like Thor dies in one of these big movies. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's literally the only way, and that's only to get Tom Hiddleston in one more movie.
Like, go ahead.
I mean, that's it, right? Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, don't cheapen this. Death traditionally in comic books and stuff like this is meaningless, and he's not even like dead, right?
Yeah,
he's just an ethereal like being at the end of time. Right? Like, there's no reason why he should just like, I'm here now, right? Like,
yeah, like I don't need you just showing up on a Disney Plus series. Like, that's crazy. Like, hey, everybody, like, remember me? No, I think my thought is the only way you get him back is in a scene to say goodbye to Thor one last time, and I could see it totally being like, I don't think Thor dies. I actually think that would kind of be a mistake a bit. I think Thor becomes like, he transitions into like an Odin level character, right? And he's just like, I'm sitting on the fucking throne of Asgard or not Asgard, but wherever.
Yeah, that's fine.
And like, he's just like, I'm done. I've done all I need to do. Like, you young kids, get out there and do your shit, right? And then I think as he's sitting on that like throne at the end, and he's looking out into like the last bit, like the big Odin sleep for him, right? Like, not necessarily dying, but like he's just he's chilling. I think Loki comes to him and is like, it's good to see you, brother. Blah blah blah. I didn't get to say goodbye to you. And then he just has this moment where it's like, oh shit, like, my brother's still alive. And then they have that moment, like, kind of, they could walk off into the sunset together. Like, they started this shit together, right? They've been there since what? The third movie, right? Like, they just kind of walk off in the sunset together as fully realized brothers, not as enemies anymore, not as, variants and all this other shit and different timelines, but as fully realized brothers that they have gone through all of this. And like, their arc is that like they split, and they took all this time to come back to be at a center point in the end together, right? Like, that would be a dope fucking ending for the both of them, right? Anything kind of shy of that, I don't need them showing up and like, hey, I'm in Ironheart. Like, don't do that. Like, please don't do that. That would very, very much cheapen it. It would be weird. But I think that's how you do it. Is if anything, you give Tom and Chris an actual send off together as brothers. I think that would be kind of dope. But I don't even need that, to be honest, because I think
I don't even want that. I don't even want it.
Like, I think this is a sufficient ending, right? Like, Thor was brokenhearted that Loki died, and I think that spite like drove him to be what he needed to be to take on Thanos, and I think that's enough for him. But again, if you want to give us a little bit of that where he sees him again, I'm okay with that. But that's it. Like, I need a flash, right? Like, you got to hit pause on the fucking DVD player. Is that what people still use? Like, you got to pause it just to see him enough, and then like it's over. Like, that's it. But I don't even need that. So
I like your
I think it's
idea. I like your idea of Thor becoming like the new king of well, they already have New Asgard already has a king, right? Because Asgard is done, but if King Valkyrie doesn't want to do it anymore or whatever, and Thor is now the new king of New Asgard, he needs to say something to the effect of like, yeah, I kind of I know what like glorious purpose means now, or some shit like that.
right.
And then you get like a flashback. You get like Tom Hiddleston in the clouds, like Simba and shit. Some dumb shit. I don't know. I don't write movies.
Tom Hiddleston in a cloud is wild. That's a wild choice. Just like, all right, well, like, who wrote this? This is fucking dumb. What idiot thought this worked? Yeah, I some aspect of that I think works, but I don't need it. This is a perfect ending. They stuck the landing. Absolutely awesome. I love that as he's walking up the hill, you fucking see the horns like grow out. Like that was just fucking dope. And they were different, right? Because he's different now. Like, yeah, they fucking nailed it. Perfect ending to. I think I saw some people say it in our Discord, and I agree with them. I think it's the best. I think it's the best character arc in the MCU. I think it is. It's the wildest one, man. It's a fucking wild ride. So,
I mean, in terms of actual like arcs going from one place to another place, yeah, like that's it. Yeah. It's the steepest, right? Like Iron Man has an arc, right? But like Iron Man's inherently good. You just, he's not center right anymore. He's just like, maybe all this war shit is not good for the world. Yeah. So I'm gonna prevent it, right? It's like, oh, okay, that's
you're kind of centering yourself again, like weird,
right? Like Cap doesn't really have an arc.
Cap has a great movie arc, but it's not a big character arc, right? Like he's not. Yeah. He doesn't change, but he's got a good arc of movies. He's got a great arc of movies. But yeah, it's there's no fundamental character change. But Loki, and as someone said, and I 100% agree with this, Loki and Nebula have the biggest character arcs. They do.
Oh, yeah.
Look, every time when she fucking cried in Guardians, I cry. I'm like, all right, come on now. Come on, knock it off. Like, Rocket, fuck, my heart. Like, I wasn't ready for that. Like, fuck you, James Gunn. Like, fuck you again. I saw that movie twice in theaters. I cried at the same spot twice. Like, I didn't know it was coming. Like a fucking idiot. So, yeah. Look, if you haven't watched Loki, do yourself a favor, man. Season 2 is great. It really is. It's excellent work. All right. That's it for us. We will be back next time for another episode.
See ya.